Mm.
it's kind of strange because the situation that you're describing is not a great one, and yet your mind always turns to things that are positive and inspiring. Like everything you're saying leads me to believe that, you know, making a decision, like I when I think about people who are struggling with decisions, I don't think about someone who is learning lessons and has great role models and is filled with like love and appreciation for their family. Okay, great. So Jabree, tell me, man, what's going on? Tell me a little bit about who you are, what's going on in your life, and how I and Twitch Cat can reform you.
All right. Let me turn on the light. Seems like it's dark, kind of. I think it's better. Okay, so first of all, hi everyone. Nice to meet y'all.
And what do we call you?
You can call me JJ or Jabree. My real name is very hard to pronounce. I guess maybe you can pronounce it. But it's my real name is Jabr.
Jabr?
Yeah, Jabr. Jabr Hussein Jabr Muhammad Ali Kadhim Swar. That's my full name.
Okay.
But I'm from the Kingdom of Bahrain. I'm from the Middle East. I was born there, raised. I'm only in the US for college. A little about myself. Let me see. I speak 3 languages. I speak Arabic, Farsi, and English. Although the former 2, I didn't have a choice. My mom's Persian, my dad's Arabic. So they taught me the languages, and I taught myself English for the most part from a young age. Actually, it's kind of, now I think of it, it's kind of a weird trait my family and I share. We're like polyglots. Like my mom speaks Hindi, Persian, Arabic, English. So does my dad. Yeah.
How's your the main question, Jabr? It's
yes.
Jabr.
Jabr. It's
Jabr.
At the end is it's a kasra in Arabic. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we can call me JJ if it's easier. Yeah, it's fine.
We'll see. I may try it on.
Yeah.
But how's your head bobble? Do you guys head bobble in Bahrain?
Like this?
Yeah.
When my mom speaks, or when my dad, both my parents, when they speak to like Indians in Hindi, they
head bobble. Yeah.
Yeah, they hobble.
It's kind of interesting because it you change it depending on what language you speak.
Yeah.
Like I don't head bobble when I speak English.
Mm.
But when I speak one of the Indian languages that I speak, then I head bobble.
Mm-hmm. So, that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. So yeah, my brother also speaks the languages I speak, and nobody in my family speaks English as well as I do, just because I took it upon myself to imitate the American accent and all that, and watch Hollywood movies, etc. Arabic accents. I can do an Arabic accent in English. Hello, my friends. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
My name
Let's do it all in accents. You do the Arabic and I will do the Indian, okay?
I'm afraid the people in the chat will be very confused. So
no, they will just think they are not watching an American stream. It's going to be from different country. It's okay.
It's gonna be hilarious.
Tell me, Jabr.
Yes.
Jabr.
Jabr. Yeah.
Jabr.
Yeah.
So how can we help?
So to be honest,
but are we actually doing the whole interview in accents?
No, I think it's gonna be too hard for me. Yeah. I mean, it's up to you. I think it's gonna be it's gonna throw me off.
It's too hard for you. That's what she said.
Yeah. That's what I like you already, Dr.K. But so I think there's a plethora of things that I want to talk about, but since we're limited in time, obviously,
sure.
I think the end goal that I do want to talk about eventually is like decision making right now. Being a 22-year-old who's going to graduate next month and figuring out what I want to do in life and career wise. But I think it might be better for you to get to know me and get to know kind of my history, to know exactly what type of person I am and what applies to me. I don't know. It's up to you. I'm not the guy who would be best suited to. But if that's what you think we should do, I can do that. And then we can get to, I think, the crux of the matter, or
Okay, so tell me a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a Muslim. I was born, obviously, like I said, in Bahrain, and I'm a Shia Muslim, which is the minority of Muslims. So it's like 10%, I think. So yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to be organic. This is not planned or anything. I don't have anything in mind. I just want to like go with the flow. You know what I mean? So it's harder to be more organized mentally, and I don't want to use a lot of filler words. There's one thing I'm practicing right now is not to use uhs and likes, and it's hard. But I pick it. I blame my American peers for that thing. But
well,
I was just gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
Go for it. No, go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, there's a lot of things that affected me in the past and my growth personally.
Okay. Like what?
I guess we'll get right into it, I guess. Okay. So I've been mentally and physically abused by my father.
Okay.
For I would say 15 to 16 years of my life. And
so 15 to 16 years because it stopped when you left for college, or
no?
He started when you were like 6.
I guess, I mean, it started as far as I can remember, maybe like when I was 3. And so I would say, if you subtract that, it'll be like 13 to 12 years. So it stopped when I was 15 or 16, rather. And it's not because I went to college, it's because he stopped abusing me and my brother. So I have 3 siblings. I have an older brother who's 2 years older than me. He's 24. I'm 22. And a sister who's 17, and a younger brother who's 5 or 6. I forget. But yeah, so yeah, my dad was very abusive, and I think it affected my growth.
It has a way of doing that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and so this one, I think it's one of the reasons why I want to leave the country.
Sure.
But like when I say abuse, so usually, you know, at least I don't know how similar Indian culture is to Middle Eastern. Like it's at least Arabic. It's because it's a very honor shame culture, kind of.
Sure.
So in that sense, I think you can compare. But you know, fathers, they want to raise men. You know, men can't be emotional. They can't, you know, cry, etc. All that stuff. And so, yeah, I've never seen my dad cry ever in my life. And if I did see him cry, I would cover his eyes in a funeral or something. So I've never seen that side of my dad. Never seen the vulnerable side of my dad. And yeah, so a lot of kids, like my friends, they got hit by their fathers, and that's just a disciplinary thing that's like common in the Middle East. Yeah. But the thing is, I didn't know that I was being abused. So I thought it was normal because I'm a child. I've never experienced a life other than the life I'm experiencing right now. So as a child, there's nothing else I experienced to compare it to. So when I asked my friends, yo, does your dad beat you? Like, yeah, he does. I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one. But the thing is, he's not beating them with a shovel in the face. That's the difference. Yeah. And so, or throw a rock in my eye. Yeah. Or throw a rock at full speed in my freaking skull, right? I'm surprised I'm not, at least to my knowledge, I'm not damaged in my brain. So
doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, hopefully not. But yeah, so the abuse got really bad. He never hit my mom, so I think he knows his limits, right? Like he doesn't hit a woman because like that's like he's a very proud man or whatever. I don't hit women, etc., etc. But he's very abusive to her in other ways, like vocally. So the only source of affection I've ever gone was from my grandma, because or somewhat my mom, but both of them were working for the most part. And so me and my brother were left home with the housemaids that would take care of us. And then, you know, when my dad comes back home, it's a gamble whether he's going to beat us or not, if he had a bad day or not. So, and I would try my best to go to my friend's house or whatever to not take the chance, you know what I mean? If he has a bad day. And sometimes, like, the most common way that would cause him to beat us is if he's taking a nap and me and my brother are like having fun playing a game or something, and then we wake him up and that's it. We're effed. Oh, we can curse, right? We're fucked. Yeah. So
yeah. Curse away, my buddy.
So yeah, like it got really bad. Like when I say abuse, it's not like slap in the wrist or whatever. It's like punched in the face full force by a grown man. So, and my brother got it worse. Whatever I got, my brother got it twice as. So,
Why is that?
because he could take it, I guess.
And
He's
you
so
can't?
so he's, at least when we were younger. So since the 2 years mattered when it comes to our growth, when I was like 4, he was 6. He was like way taller. Right now, I'm the tallest in the family. I'm the largest. I'm even taller than my dad. But I think growing up, I think that's why, because my brother was taller. My brother was more of a brat. I was a very nice child. I was very quiet, very chill. I didn't speak a lot and disobey a lot. If my dad told me to do something, I'd be like, yes, sir, and I'd do it. My brother would be, ugh, or he would make a sigh sound and like, what'd you say? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, sorry, I'm getting shaky talking about this. I don't usually talk about this, but
What are you feeling? Sorry?
shaky, like nervous.
What is
I don't know, like fear, because I'm thinking of the past and like the emotions that I used to feel that I trapped away for a long time.
Is that what you're feeling? Fear?
Yeah. I think emotions that I trapped, that I tried to escape. I guess I'm revisiting, and so.
So JJ, it's kind of weird. It seems like you were able to tell most of the story about yourself without.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the most emotion that you felt is when you started talking about your brother.
Really? Yeah, I do love my brother.
I mean, do you think are you feeling more over the last, like, let's say 60 seconds or 90 seconds as opposed to the first part?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's because of my brother or because I'm getting more and more deeper into the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But
What do you think?
It could be. I do love my brother. I think, actually, now that you bring it up, I always had a soft spot. So like, even if I do something wrong, or if my brother does something wrong, let's say like he beats me or something, I would feel bad because I would know if my dad finds out, he's gonna kick his ass. And so I would try to say like, no, I just fell or something. That's how I got the bruise, because I didn't want my brother to take the fall and get beat up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times, like, even like 2 of my stitches, I've been stitched 6 times. None of them is from my dad. But 2 of them were from my brother, and not because he beat me, but because he did an accident, like mistake. So we were playing hide and seek, and I was going up the closet, and I wanted to hide with him in the closet. And as I was climbing up, he was tickling my armpit, and then I was I was telling you stop. Like I was laughing so hard he wouldn't know I was serious. Like I'm losing my grip. And I'm like, stop. But he wouldn't. I was just laughing, and he thought it was funny. I ended up slipping, and I felt like full force on my back. And then the inertia or the momentum like drove my head back and hit the corner of a wall. And then I got stitches in the top of my head. That's one way he got me stitches. Another way, he threw like a sharp object that landed on my head that didn't pierce my brain. Thank goodness. Got stitches because of that. But both times, my dad, to this day, does not know that he caused, because I didn't tell.
So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I if you let me, I will talk forever. That's the thing. You can stop me.
Yeah, I mean, do you talk about this stuff often?
I've only spoken about it once with my therapist.
Okay. How long have you been seeing a therapist?
For a year.
How's that going?
It's going pretty well, but she diagnosed me with PTSD, which I don't really think I have, just because. So just fast forwarding, like, going back, like, my dad, he stopped abusing us when he not made a friend, but like started talking more to one of his closer friends who's a very, very religious Muslim, and he's known him ever since he was a kid. And he was like teaching him to be a better Muslim, and like you have to like treat your family well, etc., etc. And so after that, my dad stopped beating us. And there's two ways one could I guess respond to this. One way would be like, I don't forgive you, Dad, for what you've done. And the other one's like, I forgive you and I just want to move on and have a a better relationship with you going on, because now he's a good father. Like, I don't complain about him. He's a good dad. So
Was he a good dad even when he was abusing you?
yeah, I would say he like good dad, not in the sense that he was emotionally available, but he did take care of his family at the end of the day. So like he the only reason, so like the two responses I said, like forgiving him and moving on, and not forgiving him, that's kind of describing me and my brother. I forgave my dad, even though my dad never asked for forgiveness. I know deep down inside he regrets the things he's done, but my brother to this day has not forgiven my dad. And so I forgive him because I know my dad has went through the same shit as we did. He has.
JG, you know what abused, I think we're talking about today?
What are we talking about?
I think we're talking about your brother.
Really?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I actually don't know how I feel about that.
Let me ask you something. Do you feel like your brother protected you from your dad?
Yes.
I can see that.
Yeah, my brother's always been there for me. Like he's been a person that I can depend on at all times. So he's the type of guy that would drop everything to help his family out, especially me and my mother. He's like the second in charge, basically. So
it sounds like in a lot of ways your brother is what a dad is supposed to be.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm very close to my brother. Actually, before I came to this call, I was talking to him, asking like, what's up back home? You know, how are you doing? Because he just finished his master's degree. He got his degree yesterday. So I was congratulating him and all that. So
how's he doing?
He's doing well. So far, there's a lot of things going on back home that are not good, and so he has to take care of that.
Like
and
what?
He's been stressed. Well, this is gonna switch gears real fast, but my mom's recently found out that my dad's been cheating on her for the past 10 years. So she wants to get a divorce, and she's been emotionally like broken, and my brother has to be there for her, etc. She's like been she thought very negative. She had negative thoughts, like maybe almost suicidal, etc. And my brother, I'm like, yo, like you gotta like be there for her, etc., etc. So he has more things to worry about because he wants to get a job, because my family's financially struggling because of all of this. And I'm not getting any college. I'm not getting any scholarships or whatever to attend here. Like my mom's taking out loans to support me coming here.
Yeah.
So my brother is very stressed, but I know he can handle it. And yeah, that's how he's fine. He's just worried more about we're both worried more about my mother than ourselves, really. Because like our mom is like very, very, very important to us. Yeah.
I'm going to just think for a second. Is that okay, JJ?
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, I'm going to just start tossing stuff out. So I think, you mentioned that you're looking for guidance about what to do after you finish college. I think we're talking about your brother. I think we're talking about his capability, that he's capable. I think we're talking a little bit about you shirking your responsibilities by letting him handle things. I think we're talking about whether you should go back or whether you should stay, whether you should prioritize your own career. We're talking about whether you should put your life ahead of your family's. And we're talking about your guilt in terms of letting your brother handle what maybe you're a big man enough to handle now. Is that
I agree.
What we're talking about?
Exactly.
So tell me about that.
Yeah. So, right now my dad is pressuring me to find a job in the U.S. And initially, so I'm taking an extra semester. So I was supposed to graduate in May, but I took an extra semester to minor in business because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it seemed like everything was moving too quickly, and I didn't have a chance to make a choice whether if I want to go back home or stay here. And so since I had a student visa and that's hard to obtain, I was like, I'll take advantage of it and take an extra semester. And so I don't know what I want to do because everybody's advising me, even my mom, my brother, everybody's telling me like, stay there, get a career. Jobs are harder to get, or good jobs are hard to get in the Middle East. It's full of nepotism and all that stuff. And so I'm like stuck. I'm like in a rut.
Yep.
So there's also selfish reasons for me to go back home. Like I'd admit, like it's gonna be more comfortable for me because my country is a small country. I know everything about it. I'm gonna be more comfortable in it. My friends are there. My girlfriend is there, and so it's easier for me just to go back home and then get the degree. I'm like, hey, tell people or employers I studied in the US. I'm an asset to your company, et cetera, et cetera. The option B is for me to stay here like everybody's telling me to, because there's better opportunities for me. And even if my dad says, or my brother, both of them are saying, even if I don't end up living in the US, at least working for a year or two is going to help my resume immensely going back. I have that international experience basically, so that's where I'm stuck. I'm looking for jobs. I've been applying. I actually got a response today for one of the careers. And so my major is computer information systems. So it's like a lot of coding and stuff with some business on the side. But the thing is, I'm not passionate about programming. I'm good at it, but I just don't like doing it. Okay. And so that's something I'm struggling with as well.
So JJ, I think we could talk about computer information systems and your career and all that stuff as much as you want to. I don't think that's why you're coming here today. I think what we're talking about today is selfishness versus sacrifice. And I think we're talking about your struggle about whether you should go or whether you should stay, and who gets helped and who gets left behind.
Yeah.
So fill that in. I'm just tossing out words, right? I'm tossing out themes, but I don't know. I think you're way forward, and I don't know if Twitch chat is going to understand what I mean by that. It's clear to me that you understand what we mean by that. I just don't know if we've laid things out and Twitch is following along, or if it's just too vague.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Tell us about that. Fill in the gaps for us.
So if I go back home, I'll be able to. This summer, I worked part-time. I went back home the past summer. I worked back home as a videographer. That's my passion. I like doing video stuff, video editing and all that. And so I worked part-time, and my boss offered me full-time. So if I go back home now, I will get a job. That's not an issue. And I can, my mom will feel some weight is off her shoulders because she doesn't have to financially support me being away. And my sister, who's studying in the Emirates, she wants to be a dentist. She's also my mom's selling her jewelry and all that just so she can support my sister right now. And so if I graduate and go back home, that's one less person she has to financially support, and that's gonna help her a ton. And I can get money, and I can work, and I can help her pay off her loans and debts. Right? That's one thing I can do for my family. If I stay here, that means I will still need more financial support. Even if I graduate, I'm not going to get it immediately once I start working. I might even just get an internship, an unpaid internship by staying here, and I will still need to all that.
Sorry, we just cut out there for a second. Keep going.
Yeah. So what was the last thing you heard? I can.
So you were saying something about even if you stay here, you're going to need some degree of financial support, and then I didn't catch the details around that.
Yeah, so I'm still gonna need financial support because I might get an unpaid internship position, so I will still need um, support from my family to get an apartment and all that for the duration of the internship,
Okay.
and then that might get
Why do
me a
you feel
job.
like you can't get a paying job?
Because getting a visa, that's what,
Ah,
yeah,
gotcha. Never mind. Okay, so
yeah.
fill it in,
So
but go ahead.
yeah, and so if getting an unpaid internship in the long run means I'll get a visa from the company and followed up by a full-time position, that's a less riskier route for me, even if I have to get some financial support early for the duration of the internship, which is probably 3 months. Um, but it's also a risk in a sense because I don't know how guaranteed a full-time position will follow up after
Yep.
that. But it's still going to be good for my resume. I think it's a win situation. If I get the internship, I get the work visa. I can make connections. I can have it in my resume, and I can go back home with a powerful resume. So that's a sacrifice. If I stay here, it means I'm sacrificing the like helping my family out by being there for them. I can drive back home. That means I can help my mom get her stuff. She doesn't have to go drive around everywhere. I can do a lot of things by being there physically and getting a job there. But it's not gonna be the best career choice for me personally.
Okay.
That's the trade-off.
So you mentioned your mom is financially supporting you. Does your dad work?
My dad retired. My dad had a successful career, and he retired very early. He retired when he was 40. He's 50 something. He retired when he was 43, even though he had more opportunities to make a lot of money by continuing to work. And he chose not to because he says he values his life and he wants to do the things he wants to do, which it seems to be fishing every weekend, going fishing every weekend. But what he's been doing recently, he built an apartment building, so he's a landlord now. But he took a lot of loans for that from his friends and from the bank, and now he has some tenants, and he's currently working on paying loans back from
I'm
the
just a
bank.
little bit confused about you. You talk about your mom and dad as if they're separate financial units.
They are. Yeah, that's the issue. My mom always support. My mom works at a bank. She works in HSBC, and she was like the backbone of our house. She would support the house by bringing food every week, and groceries and all that. She supported us in school because my dad didn't want us to go to private school. He wanted us to go to public school. My mom was like, "No, I think private will be better." And he's like, "Okay, if you want to do that, you're gonna have to pay for the private school." And she's like, "Fine," and she did it. And so
Wow.
it seems, yeah. So my mom is a hell of a woman. She's amazing.
Hmm.
So she has been supporting.
Abandoning her must be hard.
Yes, that's very hard. And she. I feel bad because I'm helpless in case of helping her financially. Want to be successful in order to get her like the car she wants or whatever she wants, because she's
Hmm.
been her entire life. I mean, we don't have time for um talking about her life, but her entire life has been a sacrifice. Like she's been sacrificing for the sake of her own family,
Hmm.
her parents financially, and then now for her kids. She never had time for her own.
How do you
Um,
feel about that?
I feel sad. Yeah. Every time like I pray, like my Muslim prayers, I like pray for her all the time. So she deserves a lot. And you know what bothers me, what it really annoys me, like when we talk about religion, she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna go to heaven, like I might go to hell, who knows. I'm like, Mom, if you're gonna go to hell, there's no way I'm gonna go to heaven. So give me a chance, tell me you're gonna go to
Mm.
heaven just so I can think I can get a chance to go there, because there's no, if I get to go to heaven and you get to go to hell, God has done something wrong. I mean, we have to switch places. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, she's an angel.
Yeah.
Um, so she's supporting. Yeah, she's supporting me financially. She works at a bank. She's still the only working person in the family. Um, and she's very stressed. Like she's a good boss, and she's a good, and she works well. She's good at her job, but it's taxing on her because I see her working every night from home. She's like a workaholic. And like she has the things are on her eyes, the blackness on her eyes, showing that she's tired. She never gets sleep. She sleeps like 3-4 hours a day. She's always tired. So she financially supports me, and and my dad has been taking money from her as well. Like, hey, I give me this money I need it for the building, and I'll pay you back. And sometimes he doesn't pay back, and it gets annoying with my mom. And my dad's like, yeah, I'm doing it for the family, et cetera, et cetera. And so,
How do you
with
feel
the
about that?
I feel really angry because I feel like my dad can be very hypocritical. So, like, I don't understand how when you changed to be a better father, you couldn't change to be a better husband, and you still maintain to cheat on my mom after you changed, right? I don't understand that. And so,
Dad sounds like quite the asshole.
yeah, but he's very wise. Like, he's a good my dad is
wise?
He's very wise. He some of the life lessons I remember him teaching me things that I still remember to this day.
Like what?
For instance, we were in the car one day, and my dad asked me, it's like I was like 8 or 9, and he asked me like, do you want to be what do you want to be in life? And I said, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have a lot of money. And he's like, how do you want to do that? And I said, I don't know, I'm gonna make the best video game ever or something like that. I forgot the answer. And he says, look at the building. Like, we were driving. He loves teaching by examples and metaphors, and he likes asking questions rather than teaching me something like, this is how you do something. Right? He likes to ask me questions, and he makes me ponder. Like, wow, I see what you mean. So he's like, you see this building? Like, yeah. It's like, how do you get to the roof? Do you just fly up to the roof? And he's like, and I was like, no, like, what do you do? He's like, you take the stairs or you take the elevator, you go step by step. It's like, exactly. So don't think about life the way you're thinking, like, oh, I'm just gonna make a video game and I'm gonna be rich. That's not how life works. You gotta take the stairs. Right? It's gonna be tiring, especially if it's a tall building like the one you're asking. Millionaire is not an easy task. And so that's one of the things I remember.
Yeah,
Another thing,
do you think he climbed the stairs?
Yes, my dad had a terrible life, I would say. And this is one of the things, one of the choices. Remember when I said I chose to forgive my dad, even though he didn't ask for forgiveness? The only reason I was able to forgive my dad is because my mom told me about his upbringing, and his upbringing was very bad. So, like, his dad married 3 women, not at the same time. First one passed away very early, and so he married another woman shortly after. She had a lot of kids, and she died as well, giving birth to her last child. And then he married my direct grandma, and they had a lot of kids. So his father was about in his 60s when my dad was born. And he was very sick. And so my dad didn't have a father figure, right? He never had a father figure, and he had older brothers. So when he was born, he had brothers that were like in their 20s. And so those were the ones who were taking care of him, and they would beat the crap out of him. So this, like, as bad as he would beat us. So they would hang him on a ceiling fan like a piñata and smack him. That's how bad he got smacked as a kid. And so my dad is a very handy man. Like, his family was dirt poor. He would go to the bike repair shop and look at the garbage in the bike repair shop and get like pieces, like, or spare parts for a bike, and make his own bike on his own. He would learn on his own. See, so he can, anything you can throw at him, he can fix. Car engine, boat engine, air conditioning, whatever. So he was a survivalist, and that's why he became successful, because he was the only one who finished school from his
JJ,
siblings.
you have a lot of positive things to say about everyone in your family.
Yeah.
How do you feel about yourself?
I feel like I can't catch a break.
In what way?
Like, the abuse when I was a kid. And then I was also very obese as a child. I was very fat. I lost most of my weight back in I was 250 pounds. Yeah,
How'd you
I
do
got
that?
to 2015. I used to walk every day for half an hour or to an hour and just eat better. Um,
Hmm.
Somebody saying
Well,
sound off. Is my sound okay? Hello?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Uh, I, yeah, I'm not sure, so we'll see. But so you say you can't catch a break. Like in what way?
Like I don't feel like all my life I've been stressed. I don't feel I've ever felt like relaxed or content with where I was. Um, like I'm going through a hair loss right now. My dad is bald, so I'm guessing it's genetic. But he lost his hair. He started losing his hair in his 30s. I
Mhm.
started losing my hair when I was 18 when I came here for college.
Okay.
And so and I'm sure you know the concept of halal food, right? Like
Mhm.
kosher halal. I don't have any halal food here. To the chat, if they're confused, halal food is basically permissible food for Muslims. And so there's not any halal meat here in college. So I became like a vegetarian almost. I just eat salads every day. I was very malnourished when it comes to proteins and stuff, and so my hair loss was accelerating, and that really like hurt my self-image because I used to have thick hair and I used to like be proud to take care of my hair and all that, and I'm losing it. But at this point, I really don't care like about my hair. Like I've gone over that.
So I'm okay. Hold on. Let me just
I'm
add.
sorry if I'm all over the place. My
No.
brain is all over the place.
It's not your fault. So I think So first, let me tell you what I'm seeing. Okay. So like you painted me a picture that is overwhelmingly positive and loving. Right. So like you're talking about this sort of desperate situation, but when I hear you talk, you're smiling a lot. You're talking about how inspiring and sacrificing your mom is, how inspiring and wise your dad is. You're talking about how awesome your brother is. It's kind of strange because the situation that you're describing is not a great one, and yet your mind always turns to things that are positive and inspiring. Like everything you're saying leads me to believe that making a decision, like I when I think about people who are struggling with decisions, I don't think about someone who is learning lessons and has great role models and is filled with like love and appreciation for their family. That usually leads to sort of some sense of security or direction in life. And yet you're talking about positivity, like you're kind of saying, you kind of say like, oh, I'm angry with my dad. And then when I kind of reflect that back to you, I kind of say like, he kind of sounds like an asshole. Like your mom is working double shifts and supporting you, and he's out fishing and taking loans from everyone, including your mom. And then when I call him an asshole, what's your response? Do you remember?
I try to empathize.
You say he's a really wise man.
Yeah.
And on the surface, I think it sounds like really saintly for you to forgive your dad, right? It sounds like the kind of thing that your mom would do. And I'm just not getting like any negativity from you, but your life should be full of negativity.
I feel like the negative thing right now, or there's two things. If there's and now this is like gonna take a turn, but there's two things, right? If I didn't think the abuse I was getting was normal, because I thought it was normal, because sometimes half my face would be purple because of the smacking I would get, right? If I didn't think that was normal and I was getting abused, I would probably not be alive today. Like that's just being serious. I thought it was normal. I didn't know it was I was being abused. I didn't know. I thought everybody's going through this, so I would just be a bitch if I, thought about suicide, whatever, right? And so that's just me being real, and that's how it was as a kid. Not me looking back when I went to therapy. Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in right there.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm mentioning to you that you seem to be like very inspiring and positive despite this very difficult situation. Mm-hmm. And you say that it's difficult, but I'm not hearing you use the language of difficulty. Everything is like about growth and learning and wisdom and sacrifice. And then when I ask you that, for some reason your mind goes to if I didn't know I was in such a bad situation, or if I knew I was in such a bad situation, then I may have become suicidal, but I thought it was normal. So like, that's kind of a weird thing to say in response to what I'm pointing out to you. So why do you think you said that?
I think that was a precursor
to what?
To who
where I cut
am
you off?
Yeah. So like the second part, I was gonna say, like, right now I feel very, like, me thinking about the past and the things that I went through. It's kind of affecting me right now because I feel like I blocked that part off, like, of my life off, and then now it's rushing to me like a flood. And sometimes I would cry, like when I would sleep, or I dream about my dad beating me, things like that, which some things I didn't experience ever. I have insomnia, so I can't sleep without the TV being on. That's something I struggle with. I'm very lethargic now, especially my last semester. I feel like very lazy, and I just want to get a job, and just I don't want to study anymore. It's like,
yeah. So like, this is kind of weird. So like, I don't know how to explain this to you, but you know, JJ, like, you should have rage in your heart. You should have like frustration and anger and disappointment. I think you have guilt. I think guilt is the only thing you've got. That's the only thing I'm really picking up from you. But there should be a lot of other stuff. Like, I understand that your dad, so I think it's a very mature outlook to have, to to be able to forgive your father for what he did and to empathize with him. And also, like, do you forgive him for what he did to your mom?
No.
How do you feel about that?
I'm very mad about that. And he doesn't know that I know. See, my dad really loves his kids, and he cares about what we think about him.
Yeah.
He's a very proud man.
Yep.
He never, like, even when I argue with him or debate with him about any religious topic or whatever political topic, philosophical, he doesn't like losing, and he doesn't admit when he loses, and he tries to. I don't say he loses often. Like
I think he loves you guys, but it sounds to me like he's quite narcissistic.
Yes, very much so. And so he doesn't want, and he has a special place in his heart for me out of all of his kids. My mom told me this, because he feels like ever since I was a child, I was the obedient one. Like I mentioned earlier, I was obedient. I would say yes, sir. And so he doesn't want me to know that side of him. He doesn't want to know the cheating side of him. Like he would care.
JJ, I'm going to jump in. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. What do you think is the right thing to do?
For my mom?
No.
To divorce him.
What is the right thing for you to do in your life?
Take care of my mom.
Okay. In what way?
I want her to.
Does that mean staying or going?
She wants me to stay.
That's not what I asked.
I don't know how I can help.
Let me ask you this. So everyone is telling you that staying is the right thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. What would your dad do in your situation?
He would stay.
That's why it's hard for you. That's why it's hard for you. Because your mom is telling you, don't come back. Establish yourself and then you can help me. Your brother is saying, I can handle shit, and you feel filled with guilt because you're leaving him to pick up the pieces, because he's the one who takes the blows. Right? He's the one who takes the blows for you. So he's saying, I can help out mom. You see he's stressed, you see she's stressed, and he's doing the thing that he's always done for you, which is like tank. He's the tank. Your mom is saying you should stay. And you want to go. And the thing that I think makes it really hard, you're telling me that objectively the right move is to stay for your career. I think the reason that you can't bring yourself to stay is because that's what your fucking dad would do. That's the problem. And so, like, if you stay, you become him. And you can say as much as you want to about him being wise, but, like, I don't think you want to be him. He is the last person on this world that you want to be. Like,
I thought about that.
You once told me that, like, you earlier said that, like, your mom is worried about going to hell, and you were kind of saying, if you go to hell, then,
I don't
I
stand a
have no
chance.
chance of getting into heaven. And I think that there's like a flip side of that, which is like, you don't think your dad should go to heaven.
No,
Right?
I think my dad should go to heaven.
Okay.
I don't wish hell on anybody, and this is gonna
Okay.
sound like very controversial, but I don't even wish hell on Hitler, even though because
No, I think that makes sense.
yeah, hell is
think
eternal punishment. Yeah,
I think on balance, you can. It's completely reasonable, and I think you can be a person that really doesn't want to wish ill on anyone. And at the same time, I think there's a part of you that wishes that there's a lot of negativity towards your dad.
mm-hmm.
And I think that this really comes down to, like, you don't want to be, if he ends up in heaven, you want to be in hell. Like, it's like the flip of your mom. And I sense that current in you. And I think the problem here is that it's like buried beneath so much, like, positivity. And it's buried beneath a lot of compassion. And it's buried beneath a lot of maturity. But I think it's there. Like, I find it hard to believe that it's not there.
I think give me a second. Let me like dig into because I'm bad at like realizing my emotions. I think that I really do love my dad.
I think you do too.
And part of my brain is saying you shouldn't because of the things he's done to you and it is doing to your mom. Right? But I don't feel it.
Yeah. So here's the problem. It's not that you shouldn't. It's that you should feel other things as well. So I think the problem is that your feelings are one-dimensional. Like, the question that I have for you, JJ, is, do you hate your dad?
No.
Can you love and hate someone?
Yes.
So then the question becomes, why don't you hate your dad?
I think it's because I've only seen one side of him, like two sides of him, right? One side is him being very abusive, and that's the side that I blocked for most of my life after that. And the second side of is him being a very, very good father to me. Very good father.
This is the side that I want you to think about for a second. The side that side that tells your mom, if you want our kids to go to private school, you fucking pay for it. And then the side that tells your mom, hey, I need some money for the business. This is for the family. And then he doesn't give it back. How do you feel about that guy?
I feel very angry about that guy.
Do you hate that guy?
Yeah. It doesn't go with the guy I see. And that's the problem, right? I hear the stories about him. I don't see him doing the acts because I can only have one type of relationship with my father, and that's father to son. I don't have a wife to husband relationship with my father, obviously, because I'm not his wife. But I'm just his son. So the way he talks to me is different than when he talks to my mom. And so I only hear it from my mom, and I feel angry and I empathize with her. But then when time goes on, I'm back to square one, which is I love my dad.
Yeah. So I think that you have to understand the negativity. Like, the thing that's buried here and the thing that's hard for you, I think, is the absence of negativity. You feel some degree of guilt, but, like, I think at the end of the day, you've got to first of all understand that, like, the reason that you don't want to stay is because that's what your dad would do. Because that feels like the wrong thing. But like, you've got to come to terms with that. And that it may not be, just because it's what your dad do doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing. But I think the reason it feels like the wrong thing is because it's what your dad would do. Like, you have to understand that staying doesn't mean becoming your dad.
Yeah. And I do not want to be like my dad. So, and I told my mom this, like, when she had my baby brother, I was like 16, 17. This was right when the abuse stopped. And like, I told my mom, if I ever have kids, I never want to hit them ever. Because I know how that feels. Right? I don't think that's an emotion I'll ever forget. And so when my brother was born, I made a vow to myself to never hit him, and I'm the only one in the household who's never hit him. Even my mom, like when I say hit, I don't mean like he's been like abused, like he's like smacking the hand, or the maximum that I've done is yell at him. And so there was a very warming moment for me, which made me cry. And I asked my brother, and this is like this is like a PTSD thing. There's no way I understand why my therapist brings up PTSD, but when I asked my brother, like, why do you love me? Right? So I said, do you love me? He said, yeah, I love you. So why do you love me? He said, because you never beaten me. And like, wow. Like, imagine loving someone because they have not beaten you. They don't love you because, I mean, I'm sure he loves me because I'm nice to him and all that. Like, I buy him, like, but the first thought he thinks, like, initially as a kid, right? And kids are very honest. So
JJ, you're saying a lot of wise stuff, but I think your mind is circling around the problem. Everything you're saying, like, what did you just tell me? Like, what is that story?
Me not wanting to be like my father.
Yeah. And it's also inspiring and positive. So, I mean, I think you're swimming in positivity, which I think is like very, like, it's bizarre. It's like sort of it's a very mature thing to do. But I think it's actually holding you back, and that's causing you a problem, because you're saying, like, I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my father. But what you've got to start doing is, like, stop living in comparison to him. Right? You have to make a decision about whether you go or you stay based on your life and your family and what you want to do. And you have to really sit down with your mom and your brother and, like, understand that, like, you're leaving. Like, the problem with, like, you staying here is that you're leaving them. So can you make that sacrifice? Is it okay to, like, leave them to manage their own shit? Because you're filled with guilt, and it's guilt that's causing you to go back. And generally speaking, you know, I think it's good to put your family first. Like, I think that's an important thing, and it's an important part of your dharma. I just wonder, for if you go back today, how much can you support your mom? If you go back 2 years from now, how much can you support your mom? How much can you support your brother?
And that's why that's the conflict, right? Because if I go back now, I can short term help them, but long term, I can do way more by staying here and helping them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's the conflict. But I think if you want to resolve this conflict, you got to understand the negativity, because you understand the positive part of it very well.
There is another issue to it, though. So, like, when it comes to my degree and my passion, that's another struggle I have, or conflict I have, because, like I said, you know, I'm graduating with a computer information systems degree, but I'm not passionate. I'm good at coding, but I don't think I like it I would like it as a career. I'm more of a problem solver, critical thinker, etc. I really love philosophy, so, like, I like, you know, reading about Immanuel Kant or Nietzsche or whatever. But so and I do like doing video. You know, that's one of the things I'm passionate about. I've been doing it since I was 12. I used to edit Call of Duty montages on my crappy laptop and put them on YouTube. And I used to teach as a 12-year-old. Actually, this is funny. There's one of the videos I made on YouTube. It's still up there. It has like 80,000 views. And I was like 12, teaching somebody how to convert an MP4 file so you can use it in Windows Movie Maker. So I have a passion for video, but it doesn't pay well. And it's hard to get a job for video. But I have a degree in something that pays well. But I want something in between. I want to do something in business. That's why I'm minoring in business, like management or something, because I feel like I can lead people.
Okay, so JJ, listen.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to get the kind of satisfaction that maybe you were hoping for, because I think you're skirting around the issue. Like, I keep on saying the same thing to you, and you keep on changing the subject. What am I saying to you?
That I should stay here?
No. I'm saying that you've got to grapple with your negativity.
But I can't. It's hard. I don't know.
That's why the fuck. That's exactly why you keep on talking about other shit. So, like, I want everyone to understand this. When there is a hard decision you face, your mind will run to anything it can to complicate the situation. You'll add as many variables as you can to the equation. You're going to make, anytime you're faced with a difficult decision that you don't want to make, your mind is going to try to add as much complicating shit as you can, because then you can, like, you start talking about, oh, but I want to, like, do videography and it's my passion, and, like, but this pays better, like, what should I do? Because, like, I'm telling you, like JJ, your problem is that you have to decide whether you want to be an asshole to your family. That's your decision. Because that's what it's going to feel like. And you have to decide, like, do I want guilt and the feeling of not being an asshole to, like, control what I do? Or can I come to a place where I can say, like, okay, I'm going to stay and acknowledge that I'm going to leave my brother and my mom behind, but I'm really doing it for them, and, like, it's going to feel bad for a while, and I'm not like my dad. That I'm really doing this for them and not just for myself.
I think I've come to accept that.
The rest of it, I think, is details. I mean, I think you can come up to whatever kinds of other things you want to talk about, like, oh, like, should you follow your passion or should you do what pays? I mean, I think in your position, I would do what pays and then, like, do my passion on the side. Like, that's what I do. I don't think, like, you can, I mean, I have a job and then I do this because this is my passion. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. And I think if you get good at your job, like, if you're going to work in, like, CIS, like, I imagine that involves some amount of coding, and you're going to probably be paid, like, hourly or based on stuff. And I think if you're as good as you say you are, you can probably get paid for 40 hours a week and work 20. And on 20, you do videography on the side. Like, that's the whole point behind getting a salaried job, is you get really, really good at it, and then you do your own shit on their dime. That's how you game the system. So I don't think this is like an either or. I think you're 22?
Yeah.
You're 22. You've got 40 years of work ahead of you, and you can develop your passion, start making, like, I don't know if you know this, but, like, people get paid a lot for video editing nowadays. You know, you can make a lot of money, like, through videography. You can be, like, a contract videographer on the side and have a day job that pays your bills, because that's your dharma. That's what a man does, right? Your mom needs your help, so fucking help her.
Mm-hmm.
And if
I don't know
means,
where to go. That's the thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you're going to figure that out. Like, so I think I get what you're saying in terms of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. So the other thing is you're religious. So like, is Allah in your corner? Is he helping you out?
Yeah.
Okay, so have some faith in that. Right? Like, you can decide whatever you want to, but what makes you think you have, like, why do you think you have control?
The thing is, I don't feel like I have control.
Yeah, so you just choose. You make a choice. And you deal with the emotional fallout.
I feel like time is running out, though. Like it's November 20th, and like I graduate December 15th.
So you make a decision.
Yeah.
What's the problem with making a decision, JJ?
Commitment.
Yeah, I mean, commitment. And I think the bigger problem is you're afraid of making the wrong decision.
Yes, that's the big one.
That's the big problem. One. So, like, you can't make the wrong decision, though. Why can't you make the wrong decision?
Because they all lead to good things?
Maybe. Because you don't fucking know. Like, how can you blame yourself for making the wrong decision if you don't fucking know?
Yeah, I'm also a very pragmatic person, and so I try to. A part of me says every human being has a limited number of routes they can take in their lives, right? You could have been a barber and not a psychiatrist, right?
Sure.
That's a route. That's a possibility.
What's your mind doing right now, JJ?
It's taking me away from the issue.
Absolutely.
But it is a struggle, though, right?
Of course, it's a struggle.
Because I think I have so many possibilities. But I want to get.
Here's the problem, JJ. You're trying to figure this out so that there's a right answer. The reason you're paralyzed is because you will do whatever kind of pragmatic, calculating, statistical, philosophical, psychological. You will just chew this stuff up until you come out with the right answer. The basic problem is that you're uncomfortable with uncertainty.
Yes, I don't like not having the answer.
So that's what you've got to grapple with. Like, you've got to just understand that, like, this is not going to get fixed. You can try to, like, read Immanuel Kant all you want to. You can talk to some fucking psychiatrist on the internet. And you're coming here and you're hoping that someone is going to give you an answer so that you can make the right decision. This is for you and everyone at home. The way to move forward in life is not to find the right decision. That's like risk-averse strategies are not how you become successful. You become successful by doing and then like learning damage control. It's not prevention, it's damage control. If you want to be successful in life, just get really good at damage control.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by damage control? That
when you fuck up, you know how to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that there's an objectively right answer here. Even there's not even a psychologically correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if you stay, sure, your earning potential is greater, but like the whole H-1B visa situation is like, that's up in the air, man. Like, that's not a reliable bet. Like, you could stay for a year, everything could get fucked up. There's really no way of knowing. And so the thing that you've really got to do, JJ, is understand that uncertainty is a part of the equation. That sometimes in life, you just have to like make a choice and just see what happens. And thankfully, you're religious. So somewhere along the way, you've lost faith. Like, I don't know when that happened, but it's clear to me that you've lost faith. Like, Allah's looking out for you. So just do what you're going to do and understand that you could make the wrong decision. And understand that whether you go... So sometimes, like, for example, you're going to find your way as long as you try and as long as you keep at it. And as long as I think you face your negativity. But you're looking for like a safe solution. Like, this is like, you remember when you were a quiet and good kid? Mm-hmm. That's what you're being right now. You're just being like quiet and good. Like, how can I figure out like what's going to make everyone happy? Like, how can I figure out how to not rock the boat? Like, that's what you're trying to do in your life. But your boat it's in like stormy seas. It's going to rock. Your fear of that is actually like the biggest problem. Like, you've just got to face uncertainty. Fine. So I'm going to say something that's probably the most ridiculous thing, and then unfortunately we're going to have to stop soon. But I don't think it matters what choice you make, because I don't think you get to control what happens. Like, I just don't think you do. Like, I don't. From the situation that you've laid out, I think it's a really challenging conundrum you're in. I genuinely do not think there is a right answer. Because on the one hand, you have a high degree of uncertainty if you stay. The H-1B visa stuff is really up in the air. So, like, there's no one's going to tell you that that's, quote-unquote, the right answer. And then there's going to be, like, a high degree of uncertainty if you go. Like, your career options are going to get narrowed quite a bit. You could become a millionaire through, like, cutting YouTube videos by, like, you could do that. But you could do that either way. Right? I think the thing that you've got to start doing is having faith in yourself that there is, first of all, acknowledging that there isn't a right answer and there isn't a wrong answer. And this is a big problem that I see with all kinds of gamers, is like, they're not willing to apply to college until they know they're going to get into the one that they want. They're like, oh yeah, like, I'm not going to apply to college because like, it's going to be, I'm going to be ashamed if I don't get into like a good university. Mm-hmm. So they want everything to line up to be perfect before they take action. It's not going to work. And there's some amount of psychological stuff we can talk about, right? Like, you don't want to stay because you're abandoning your family and that's what your dad does and you're not going to be like him. Fine. You could talk about that through that with your therapist. It's a wonderful revelation, eye-opening, and your situation doesn't change. That's when I realized you actually don't have a psychological problem. You have a problem of uncertainty and fear. You also have this arrogance that like you think that you can figure things out because you've been good at that so far, right? You figured out like how to act so that your dad minimized the amount of time that he hit you. You didn't just take chances. Like, you don't take chances. So that's what you've got to learn. Like, your barrier is one of like dealing with uncertainty and understanding that sometimes in life you have to roll the dice. Mm-hmm. I know it's wholly unsatisfying for you, but that's the fucking point. Because if you're looking for satisfaction, like, that's not going to happen. The whole point is that you need to learn how to make decisions without satisfaction. You're coming on here and you're saying like, oh, like, but I don't know what to do now. Yeah. And you're not going to, ever. But you can't let that to stop you from acting.
Do you have like any advice on how to stay in the moment? Because I'm always a future-oriented person. I can never think of.
Watch the meditation streams, right?
Okay.
So meditation is the practice that brings your mind to the present moment, and we'll do some meditation today. But I think like the challenge here is that you've got to, I mean, it's tough, but you have to practice it. It's a skill. And I know that your mind is very future oriented because you just love, your mind can think about possibilities and equations and how if you do this and then this can happen and then this can happen and then this can happen. But if I do it this way, this can happen and this can happen and this can happen. If I do it this way, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. Your mind is spending all of this energy going through hypotheticals and building fantasies in your mind, and it prevents you from actually acting. At the end of the day, you're spent and you're actually not, this is important to understand, you're not any closer to an actual solution, even though it feels like all of those thoughts are bringing you to a solution. It's just like today where like I'm pushing you to the solution and then your mind is like, oh, but I forgot to mention this. And like, even at the beginning, you were like, okay, I have to start off with a bunch of fucking context and you should watch my facial expression. Go back and watch it. And I was like, what the fuck?
I saw that. I observed.
It's like, no, the context doesn't fucking matter. But your mind can chew on that context. It's like the meal that never ends for your mind. And you just think and you 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 think.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting and it doesn't get you anywhere. So just make a decision. Understand that it could be the wrong decision. And there's no way of knowing, and have some faith.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Well, thank you very much.
For what? I didn't do anything.
I mean, I came here for guidance. And
what did you get?
I got some guidance.
On what? On
being content that I can't choose or solidify any option, and I have to just go with the flow, you know?
Yeah,
and
just
so
pick
I'm accepting
something.
that.
And if it's wrong, you adjust. If it's wrong, you adjust. That's the skill that you need. That's the confidence you need to have in yourself. That if it's wrong, you adjust.
And hey, I'll let you know in a few months what choice I
let me
made.
know. You can come back on stream and we'll see, depending on the quality of your internet connection, what continent you're on.
Hey, who knows? I might go to India. My grandpa loves India.
Okay, well, if you go there, then your internet connection will be it'll be unclear. It could be as good as the US, could be as bad as Bahrain. I have no idea what Bahrain's internet is like. But listen, this I will tell you, JJ. So first of all, I think you're an awesome guy. I think, it's hard to go through what you've gone through, and I think it's really remarkable. It's kind of telling because next on we're going to have Farrell, and we're going to talk to Farrell about anger and trolls and the internet and holding on to hatred. And I think you've done an amazing job of not being hateful when you have every right to be, and that's really commendable.
Thank you.
And I don't think like you're like your dad, so I want you to take some comfort in the fact that I really don't think you can abandon your family, even if you try. It's just not, you just are not that person.
Yeah.
And that basically what you and your family are doing is they're rolling the dice, right? They're making a gamble. And all of you guys need to get on the same page about like which way do you want, like where do you want to place your bet? On going home or on staying? And either one, you can be successful either way. And I think it just takes a couple of years to figure that out. I don't think you're locking yourself into a career for the rest of your life. You can do video, and I'm serious, like any kind of programming job, you can do your programming and then do shit on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your problem is that you're thinking about an either or. It's not an either or. It's just about how to do both. So I don't accept your premise that you have to choose between the two. Like you have to choose between the two, like right now, sure. But 6 months from now, you can be doing both. You can find contracting jobs for CIS. You can do contracting jobs for videography, and you can make that transition.
Last thing, the only reason I feel like I have to make a choice, and I agree with you, like I can do either, is just easier to make a choice now because let's say I end up going back home, it's harder for me to come back to the US, and just logistics based. It's not like finding it psychologically hard to make a decision. It's just logistically, if I go back home, getting a visa and convincing an employer, hey, get me back to the US, H-1B visa over somebody else will be harder. So being here in the US, having connections and career fairs and all that.
I mean, you could tell me all the strategic reasons to make one better the other. I think that's fine. I don't think you're going to find an answer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't feed that part of your mind.
Okay.
Okay. Just keep us posted. Just know that, JJ, I have faith in you. I think you're going to be okay. And I think that you're a good human being, and it sounds like you're pretty smart. It sounds like you just had a minor amount of brain damage, so you only speak 3 languages instead of 4. And, but that too is like, that's, I talk about karma a lot. You could talk about the will of Allah, or you could talk about karma. I think it's all the same to me. Yeah. And so that's just how it is. And I'm sorry that, there isn't an easy answer for you, but that's what Allah wants for you. He wants you to put your big boy pants on and make a decision for yourself.
True.
Okay?
Thank you
Good
very
luck,
much.
man. Keep us posted, really. I want to know what happens.
Yeah. I'll be in chat for now as well, so I'll be here.
All right. Take care. Bye.